Hey folks, this is Katya, the vegan powerlifter, and welcome to another video. Today, I wanted to talk about how gender roles and stereotypes makes us do foolish decisions in terms of our self-care, workouts, and nutrition choices. As a personal trainer for many years, I have witnessed that guys and girls follow some completely different regimens on training and even approaches, even though a human body, if you look at it, it's not really that different, whether you're male or female. Yes, you have different hormones. Yes, if you're a male, you're stronger in the upper body. And if you're a female, you are capable of giving birth. Things like that. But overall, the amount of exercise that the World Health Organization recommends for a human body is the same. The amount of fiber we should eat is plus or minus the same for men and women. Even calories are close. Like, men don't eat 2 or 3 times as many calories. Yes, they eat more, but also I know women who eat more calories and men if they exercise more. What I'm saying is, like, we are more similar than it appears, and then the social media presents it to us and presents that we should do drastically different things to be a successful guy, be a successful girl. So let's start breaking it down. The first thing I want to mention is, of course, you probably have noticed that guys are recommended to be big, to strive to be big, to strive to be strong, and women are kind of advised to not be intimidating, be more quiet, be more gentle. And of course, this has its mirroring in the training that we do in the weight room. Guys tend to get overtrained and injured more, which is really sad. I see a lot more, especially young guys who have just come to the gym. So they're like, oh man, I am going to work out. I am going to do this. And they can start their workout phase, even if such exists. Like first day in the gym, they can start by maxing out in some kind of lift, usually bench press, usually something upper body, usually overhead press, because biceps, upper body, pecs. And guys ignore legs a lot more. They ignore glutes because who does glute bridges? I'm not a bikini chick. Why would I? No, and my dick is in the way. Well, glutes are a foundation of your back. You should do this regardless how you identify yourself. I really do not care if you identify as a unicorn. You should train glutes. You should train back. You should train upper body. You should train legs. You should train your whole damn body. I would say if you don't have a lot of time and you want to like skip out on some muscles, I would probably skip biceps, abs, and calves. I think those are the most unnecessarily trained groups that are usually unnecessarily trained when people should have been training larger, more useful muscle groups instead. Like if you have all of the time in the world in the weight room, of course, train those body parts. Sure, but just to show up to the gym to train calves and biceps and abs and maybe do like some cardio and leave, that's the dumbest workout I could ever imagine. Let me know in the comments if you agree. So this mentality of like no pain, no gain, I think has really damaged the fragile, masculine like approach in the gym and made it appear that if you don't train hard, then it won't lead to any gains or results, which clearly isn't true. Yes, training at a higher intensity or at a higher volume or taking less rest between sets or doing whatever the things that are harder for you personally can lead to more results, but they don't always equal with maxing out on a certain exercise. Sometimes those things mean adding fiber if you think it's like manly to eat meat, or even if you're like vegan and you focus on protein, but like you forget fiber. Maybe the hard thing that you should focus on if you want to be a manly man and focus on hard things that require discipline and toughness is adding fiber or adding cardio that guys also skip out on. Guys like to skip out on cardio a lot more than girls. While girls tend to do more cardio and tend to do sometimes only cardio yeah, great for you, great for your heart. Not so great for maintaining enough skeletal muscle to have quality longevity. But, you know, probably better than nothing. And guys tend to kind of skip out on cardio and even look at maintaining like a little bit of a belly and visceral fat as like oh, I'm a gorilla, I'm a manly man, I don't want to be too small, regardless if the size comes from fat. Like, yeah, being bodybuilder shape, maintaining super lean amounts of body fat, probably not necessary for an average person, but there is a direct correlation in being overweight with health conditions that you don't want on your plate, regardless how manly you consider yourself. And with the girls being marketed to that skinny and being small and cute and fragile, more women tend to ignore muscle mass. Like, yeah, I could see that women are always dieting, and in terms of like maintaining less body fat, that could be good, but the amount of mental health damage and eating disorders and body perception disorders that we get from this, I don't think it matches the amount of benefits that women tend to get from always trying to lose weight. And for the entire life, usually after puberty, most women are trying to lose weight. Like, I do not know a woman who I can ask, like, hey, would you mind like losing a couple pounds? Like, if there was a fairy, a magic fairy that could just do it, I do not know a woman who would say no. And that rings some alarm bells. That definitely rings some alarm bells. I probably know guys who would say no. I don't know a single one. And I'm thinking athletic, not athletic, old, young, like across the board. Of course, I don't really hang out with kids or women before puberty. So hopefully that is not a rhetoric that has kind of trickled its way down to those populations. But to say it's concerning would be to say nothing. So yeah, in terms of looks, it does worry me that women tend to skip upper body workouts, not to be too big, not to have too big shoulders or too big of a biceps. But like every other client who's a female who comes to me, like in person, they could grab themselves on like the little belly fat or the little triceps and be like, you see this wiggly, hangy thingy? I just want to get rid of this. I don't want for this to wiggle. But a friend of mine, Danny from Vegan Proteins, posted a viral reel how she would flex and she'd be like, yeah, see, it doesn't jiggle anymore. I think that should make you realize training your triceps is something to achieve the results that you want rather than quote unquote getting rid of this, whatever this is, like muscle, skin, fat. Even if you lean out a lot, if you are like 30 plus, I would say that you're still going to have some hanging skin and it's still gonna wiggle. So maybe gain some muscle there and it's gonna wiggle less because it's going to be a beautiful, firm, nice looking triceps. And that is a logic that women should pursue over their whole bodies. Don't just train the glutes, train the legs too. What is this obsession with having a huge butt that is thankfully finally going away? Like the Brazilians are not in fashion anymore. Thank you. But then being like a cocaine skinny model is starting to be trendy again. So I feel like it's one bad trend being replaced with another bad trend that is kind of getting into the women's minds of like, oh, yeah, being big is not cool anymore. Like being, what does it call it in English? A full-blooded woman? I don't remember. It's like a Russian term that I'm trying to translate. Anyways, like kind of being a little bit of fat, a little bit of meat, and like not skinny is not in fashion anymore. So we're back on the diet. We're back on the diet train. But I still see girls not training legs, trying to avoid training legs, and in isolation only train glutes. What is up with that? Your glutes look great when your legs look great. And yes, big quads look awesome. And yes, you should train hamstrings. If you don't train hamstrings, how are you going to train glutes properly? Like the majority of the glute exercises also include training hamstrings, such as glute bridges and lunges and step ups and Romanian deadlifts. They all include training both glutes and hamstrings. And it's kind of hard to just train glutes in isolation. Why would you do that anyways? Why do girls try to only do that? It's so weird. And also, well, actually, for all genders, I think, side note, nobody trains back enough except for the powerlifters. Of course, powerlifters have a lot of other problems. We don't do enough cardio. We, eat too much. We're kind of fit, kind of fat. But we got strong backs. We got what my massage therapist calls a 3D back. Well, you touch somebody's back and there's like this little valley where your spine is, where your spinal cord is. And I'm proud of my 3D back. I think it's serving me great. But people usually train more abs. Our eyes are in the front. We see, oh man, there's the belly. I need to get rid of the belly by training abs. That's not how it works, but that's how people think. And we train more quads, we train more chest, we train more biceps and abs for this reason, I think. But back, I think, is a lot more important. Back supports your whole body. It opens up your chest. It supports good posture. For women who have big boobs or get pregnant, it supports extra weight that is curling you forward. And for guys, also, if you have bigger pecs and maybe a bigger belly when you grow older, or if that's just your physique, it supports your lower back from hurting. So please train back, regardless if you're a dude or a girl, however you identify, please. Outside of lack of upper body training and trying to only train glutes and nothing else, I think girls could also use less variety and more compound movements. Guys usually tend to do mostly compound movements and less accessories, which is a personal choice. I do less accessories, but that I found that that's effective for me in my program. That's how my coach programs stuff, and my total goes up. So that's fine. That works for me. But if you're like a recreational lifter, only doing bench presses and biceps and shoulder presses, might not be enough of a variety for the whole body. And for the girls, if you're jumping from, a machine to machine to machine to machine that is like all in isolation, how about you spend the same amount of time doing a squat, bench, and a deadlift with a proper warm-up and proper cool down? I think that would bring a lot more results and a better body composition and more strength and burn more fat and throw more growth hormone into your blood so that you grow some muscle in the places that are good to have muscles in, right? Your back, your glutes, your chest, shoulders, maybe. What else? Yeah, I want to go back to the culture of toughness and just say there's nothing wrong if you do cardio as a dude. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having a great, healthy heart, the most important muscle in your body. And if you subscribe to this, like, I'm going to do things that are tough. I'm going to practice extreme discipline like David Goggins preached in his book and just find meaning in suffering. And I want to be a manly man by doing hard stuff. Well, include 180 minutes of cardio into your week, be it walking your dog, unless, of course, you already have a dog in no yard, which you're required to walk, right? But include some cardio. Add some high-intensity cardio at the end. I'm sure your dog will thank you. Or if you don't have a dog, plan that stuff into your week. It's not that much. 180 minutes, if you live in the city, you probably walk that much already. If you don't live in the city, bad news. You got to get out of the car and move your body and get that heart rate up. Like I said, girls usually do enough cardio in whatever the shape, running, dance classes with girlfriends. But then the problem is that they hang out with other girls and get advice from them on what is effective in like weight loss or training to be pretty or whatever they're interested in. And guys hang out with other guys and get advice from them in terms of what's the manly thing to do in the gym. Or I guess, I don't see a lot of guys like directly asking for advice. I just kind of see them mimicking each other. I see it's more of a girl thing and like asking advice and trying to find out what works for whom, because girls are usually more social. We're on to the next topic. We're on to the clothing. Boy, how many basketball short dudes I've seen in the gym. It is ridiculous. You cannot squat properly in those things. They are in the way. They are too loose, and the amount of extra fabric that hangs below your dick, I would feel like it prevents you from like spreading your knees, but it also, like if you look from behind, it looks like it could rip in between your butt cheeks. So I do not understand. Play basketball in that. That's what those shorts are made for. I do not understand why people wear those to squat and deadlift. That's not what they're made for. Please buy some powerlifting clothing. And to girls, my rant goes to wearing clothing that is too restrictive or wearing normal bras and not sports bras to the gym. Thankfully, in the US, it's not as much of a problem. Whereas in Russia, full face of makeup, you're gonna sweat, girl. Why you do this to yourself? And bras with those like rigid things under your boobs. I don't know, what are they called? Can you please write in the comments? I don't know what they're called. We call them ribs in Russia, but the thing that supports, I guess, your boob, I don't really wear bras at all unless I have to, unless I go out somewhere in public, like to a restaurant. But if I have to wear a bra, it's going to be a sports bra, unless it doesn't fit my clothing. But damn. Clothing that's too tight and too restrictive, even for yoga. Like what white Western people did to yoga is sad to me. I don't think you're supposed to wear all those tight Lululemons to do yoga in. Like if you watch what people wear in India to do yoga in, it's like loose clothing, and it doesn't restrict you from movement. You're not meant to look pretty doing any of this, by the way. You're not meant to look pretty in the gym. You can look pretty in other places. And I know it's marketed to women that you are supposed to look pretty 24/7. I don't care. Sorry. Yeah, maybe here we can argue in the comments and what is more valuable, wearing a full face of makeup all the time or having a really nice trained booty and back and legs, and having that throughout your life, taking that with you into your retirement. You can take your makeup into your retirement too. It's not going anywhere. But I would rather take my muscle. Let's go to self-care. Last topic. How do guys usually do self-care? I've polled a couple of my guy friends and asked what they do and what their comrades do, and the majority of folks go to a bar, have some alcohol, or unless they're married, they go to hang out with their family, maybe do some chores, so they don't really get a downtime that much. And I don't find a lot of folks in the US who just go for a walk. In Russia, it's like a lot more typical for people to just go for a walk and enjoy walking around town. I think it's an Eastern European thing. We just go for walks. That's how we meet with friends. We don't usually meet at a restaurant or for coffee, or maybe we take a coffee out and we go walk around town and get some steps in. As a kid, we used to do this because we were poor and we did not have any money to spend. We were kids. So we would go on dates as walks. We would go hang out with friends as walks. We would just go wander around the city alone, and that's fine. In the US, I don't see a lot of people doing this. I don't see like almost any of my friends doing this. They only go for walks if they have a dog. So in terms of girls, what I see folks doing, and from what my girlfriends told me, is like, yeah, they come home, they watch a soap opera, maybe they take a bath, and like they could do their nails and do some shopping. Of course, they also drink, and of course they also go to bars. And I feel like this girl boss like mentality has made more women consider that drinking like emancipates them, which I'm going to make a separate video about alcohol. That requires its own video of how, like, you know, emancipated women used to smoke more, and you could see that in movies, and you could see how she just like feels almost more above you with a cigarette in movies. Like that's what the movie sort of is trying to tell you. And the same with a glass of liquor. No matter if you watch The House of Cards or Games of Thrones or pretty much most movies, like a woman with a glass of good liquor is considered having more status than the woman who doesn't drink and goes for a run after work. Society, stop propelling those wrong ideals to women. Way too many of us fall for that without even realizing, like, it's not good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap the video here. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what stereotypical trends your friends fall into, regardless where you live. Well, how about this? Tell us where you live and tell us what usually could girls improve on and what usually could guys improve on in that place regarding their self-care, wellness, exercise, and everything around that. I didn't really touch on nutrition, but also maybe I can make another video on nutrition. I have a lot to say, also when veganism and meat culture comes into play. Anyways, subscribe and like the video. If you like the video, share it with somebody who you think this would be useful for. Get any free resources on veganpowerlifter.com or in all the links in the description. And if you're looking for a savvy coach to level up your workouts, also links in the description will lead you to a coaching application, which I am happy to look at. Until the next time.